If you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things, but your life still isn't changing, this video is for you. And if you want the exact 7 identity shifts that completely changed how I think, act, and show up, I've put them together in a free guide. You can download it below. I think one of the biggest lies we're told is that success comes from doing more work, more hustle, more effort, more content, more strategies. But what I've learned from studying successful entrepreneurs, speakers, millionaires, and personal development mentors is something completely different. Most people focus on changing their circumstances. Successful people focus on changing themselves. Because your identity creates your actions, and your actions create your reality. The problem isn't usually your goals. The problem is that your current identity isn't aligned with those goals yet. Think about it. Someone who believes they're healthy naturally makes healthier choices. Someone who believes they're wealthy naturally thinks differently about money. Someone who believes they're confident naturally behaves differently in conversations. The behavior follows the identity, not the other way around. Most people wait until they have results before they change how they see themselves. But successful people change how they see themselves first. That's why visualization works. That's why affirmations work. That's why journaling works. Not because they're magic, because they slowly reshape how you see yourself. And once your identity changes, your decisions change. One thing I noticed while studying successful people is that they all had certain habits in common. Different industries, different ages, different backgrounds, but similar disciplines. They read, they learn, they think differently, they protect their mindset, they have goals, they visualize, they don't leave their future up to chance, they create it intentionally, and that changed everything for me. Years ago, I thought confidence came after success. Now I know confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, trust in yourself decreases. But every time you follow through, even in small ways, trust grows. That's why discipline matters so much. Discipline isn't punishment, it's self-respect. Reading every day, working on a skill, exercising, keeping commitments. Those things seem small, but they're actually identity votes. Every action is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. Another thing that changed my life was visualization. Not because I believe sitting on a couch wishing for things creates results, but because your mind needs a target. You naturally move toward what you repeatedly focus on. When you constantly focus on lack, problems, and limitations, that's what fills your mind. When you focus on opportunities, growth, goals, and possibility, your brain begins looking for those things. What you repeatedly think about becomes familiar, and what becomes familiar starts feeling possible. Most people underestimate how powerful their environment is. The conversations they have, the content they consume, the people they follow, the thoughts they repeat, everything influences identity. That's why I became extremely intentional about what I allow into my mind. Less negativity, more education, less comparison, more creation, less gossip, more growth. Here is my biggest mistake. For a long time, I thought my life would change when my circumstances changed. I thought I'd become more confident after I made more money. I thought I'd feel successful after I achieved certain goals. I thought I'd finally feel worthy once I had proof. But what I realized is that I was waiting for confidence, waiting for motivation, waiting for permission. And while I was waiting, nothing was changing because I was still showing up as the same person. If you're feeling behind right now, I want you to remember something. You don't need an entirely new life overnight. You need a new identity. The life follows. The confidence follows, the success follows, the opportunities follow. Focus on becoming the person who naturally creates those results. Because when you become that person, the results stop feeling impossible. They become inevitable. The question isn't, what do I want? The better question is, who do I need to become? That's the question that changed everything for me. Here's what changed for me. The first thing I changed wasn't my income. It wasn't my business. It wasn't my circumstances. It was my mornings. Instead of grabbing my phone first thing in the morning, I started feeding my mind. I started reading. I started writing down my goals. I started visualizing. I started speaking affirmations out loud. And honestly, nothing magical happened overnight. But something much more important happened. I started trusting myself more. Because every day I was proving to myself that I was serious. And that self-trust became confidence. And confidence changed how I showed up. And how I showed up changed my results. The question I ask myself now, whenever I want something new in life, I don't ask, how do I get it? I ask, who would I need to become to naturally create it? Because that question changes everything. A healthier body? Who do I need to become? A stronger relationship? Who do I need to become? More income? Who do I need to become? More confidence? Who do I need to become? The answer is almost never a tactic. It's an identity. And once you start changing your identity, your actions begin changing automatically. Now, for a quick self-check, I want to ask you a few questions. And I don't want you to answer them for me. Answer them honestly for yourself. Are your daily habits moving you closer to the life you want or further away from it? When you wake up in the morning, are you feeding your mind growth or are you feeding it distraction? Are the thoughts you repeat every day helping you become who you want to become or are they keeping you exactly where you are? If I followed you around for the next 7 days and watched your habits, your conversations, your routines, and your decisions, would I be able to predict the future you're creating? Because your future isn't hidden. It's usually sitting inside your daily routine. And that realization hit me hard because there was a period where my goals and my habits didn't match. I wanted a different life, but I was acting like the same person. I wanted bigger results, but I wasn't developing bigger disciplines. I wanted more confidence, but I wasn't keeping promises to myself. And eventually I realized something. The life I wanted wasn't going to be created by wishing for it. It was going to be created by becoming the person capable of creating it. Imagine this. Imagine it's 1 year from today. You wake up, you're healthier, you're more confident, you trust yourself, you're proud of yourself, you have momentum, you have discipline, you have a vision for your future. Now ask yourself this, what would that version of you be doing differently today? Not next year, today. Would they read more, learn a skill, protect their mindset, speak differently, take better care of themselves, stop procrastinating, start showing up consistently? Because that future version of you isn't built someday. It's built through the small decisions you make when nobody is watching. And every decision is casting a vote for who you're becoming. And that's exactly why I created my free guide called 7 Identity Shifts That Changed My Life. Inside, I break down the exact mindset shifts I learned from studying successful people and applying them myself. You can download it below. And if you're ready to go deeper, you'll also find Evolve, my identity shift journal, designed to help you build these habits daily. Thank you for spending these minutes with me. And remember, your future doesn't start when your circumstances change. Your future starts the moment your identity does.